Are you learning vocabulary for the SAT test? Here are the 3,800 most essential English words you should learn first. Hi everyone. I'm Heslam from www.translateen.com. This vocabulary list has around 3,800 words and it shows definitions for each word. Building vocabulary is one of the hardest jobs to prepare for any English test. If you will take the SAT test in months, but you didn't develop any SAT vocabulary yet, the first is to get the proven vocabulary and work on it immediately. This 3,800 vocabulary list is an excellent candidate to own SAT words quickly. So let's get started.
Abase. Abase. Cause to feel shame. Aberration. Aberration. A state or condition markedly different from the norm. Abhor. Abhor. Find repugnant. Abject. Abject. Most unfortunate or miserable. Abstract. Abstract. Not representing or imitating external reality. Abundant. Abundant. Present in great quantity. Accentuate. Accentuate. Stress or single out as important. Acclimate. Acclimate. Get used to a certain environment. Accomplice. Accomplice. A person who joins with another in carrying out some plan. Accord. Accord. A written agreement between two states or sovereigns. Acerbic. Acerbic. Harsh or corrosive in tone. Acme. Acme. The highest level or degree attainable. Acquiesce. Acquiesce. Agree or express agreement. Acquit. Acquit. Pronounce not guilty of criminal charges. Acrimonious. Acrimonious. Marked by strong resentment or cynicism. Acute. Acute. Extremely sharp or intense. Adept. Adept. Having or showing knowledge and skill and aptitude. Adhere. Adhere. Stick to firmly. Admonish. Admonish. Warn strongly, put on guard. Adroit. Adroit. Quick or skillful or adept in action or thought. Adulation. Adulation. Exaggerated flattery or praise. Adversity. Adversity. A state of misfortune or affliction. Advocacy. Advocacy. Active support of an idea or cause. Aesthetic. Aesthetic. Characterized by an appreciation of beauty or good taste. Affable. Affable. Diffusing warmth and friendliness. Affinity. Affinity. A close connection marked by community of interests. Affliction. Affliction. A cause of great suffering and distress. Affluent. Affluent. Having an abundant supply of money or possessions of value. Agile. Agile. Moving quickly and lightly. Agrarian. Agrarian. Relating to rural matters. Alacrity. Alacrity. Liveliness and eagerness. Alienate. Alienate. Arouse hostility or indifference in. Allege. Allege. Report or maintain. Allegiance. Allegiance. The loyalty that citizens owe to their country. Allegory. Allegory. A style that describes a subject by suggestive resemblances. Allude. Allude. Make an indirect reference to. Aloof. Aloof. Remote in manner. Altruistic. Altruistic. Showing unselfish concern for the welfare of others. Ambiguous. Ambiguous. Having more than one possible meaning. Ambivalent. Ambivalent. Uncertain or unable to decide about what course to follow. Ameliorate. Ameliorate. Make better. Amiable. Amiable. Diffusing warmth and friendliness. Amicable. Amicable. Characterized by friendship and goodwill. Amnesty. Amnesty. A warrant granting release from punishment for an offense. Amorphous. Amorphous. Having no definite form or distinct shape. Ample. Ample. More than enough in size or scope or capacity. Anachronism. Anachronism. Locating something at a time when it couldn't have existed. Analogous. Analogous. Similar or equivalent in some respects. Anecdote. Anecdote. Short account of an incident. Animosity. Animosity. A feeling of ill will arousing active hostility. Annihilate. Annihilate. Kill in large numbers. Anomaly. Anomaly. Deviation from the normal or common order or form or rule. Anonymous. Anonymous. Having no known name or identity or known source. Antagonism. Antagonism. An actively expressed feeling of dislike and hostility. Antecedent. Antecedent. Someone from whom you are descended. Anthropomorphic. Anthropomorphic. Suggesting human features for animals or inanimate things. Anticipate. Anticipate. Be excited or anxious about. Antipathy. Antipathy. A feeling of intense dislike. Antithetical. Antithetical. Sharply contrasted in character or purpose. Apathy. Apathy. An absence of emotion or enthusiasm. Aptitude. Aptitude. Inherent ability. Arbitrary. Arbitrary. Based on or subject to individual discretion or preference. Arcane. Arcane. Requiring secret or mysterious knowledge. Archaic. Archaic. So extremely old as seeming to belong to an earlier period. Archetype. Archetype. Something that serves as a model. Ardent. Ardent. Characterized by intense emotion. Arduous. Arduous. Characterized by effort to the point of exhaustion. Aristocratic. Aristocratic. Belonging to or characteristic of the nobility. Ascetic. Ascetic. Characteristic of the practice of rigorous self-discipline. Aspire. Aspire. Have an ambitious plan or a lofty goal. Assimilation. Assimilation. The process of absorbing one cultural group into another. Atone. Atone. Make amends for. Attest. Attest. Provide evidence for. Attire. Attire. Clothing of a distinctive style or for a particular occasion. Attribute. Attribute. Credit to. Attribution. Attribution. Assigning to a cause or source. Audacious. Audacious. Disposed to venture or take risks. Audible. Audible. Heard or perceptible by the ear. Augment. Augment. Enlarge or increase. Augur. Augur. Predict from an omen. Augury. Augury. An event indicating important things to come. Auspicious. Auspicious. Indicating favorable circumstances and good luck. Austere. Austere. Severely simple. Authentic. Authentic. Conforming to fact and therefore worthy of belief. Authoritarian. Authoritarian. Characteristic of an absolute ruler or absolute rule. Authoritative. Authoritative. Of recognized power or excellence. Avarice. Avarice. Reprehensible acquisitiveness, insatiable desire for wealth. Avenge. Avenge. Take action in return for a perceived wrong. Aversion. Aversion. A feeling of intense dislike. Avid. Avid. Marked by active interest and enthusiasm. Avuncular. Avuncular. Resembling an uncle in kindness or indulgence. Awe. Awe. An overwhelming feeling of wonder or admiration. Optimistic. Optimistic. Hopeful that the best will happen in the future. Pessimistic. Pessimistic. Expecting the worst possible outcome. Neutral. Neutral. Possessing no distinctive quality or characteristics. Ambivalence. Ambivalence. Mixed feelings or emotions. Frank. Frank. Characterized by directness in manner or speech. Indignant. Indignant. Angered at something unjust or wrong. Empathetic. Empathetic. Showing ready comprehension of others' states. Appreciation. Appreciation. Understanding of the nature or meaning of something. Critical. Critical. Being in or verging on a state of crisis or emergency. Scornful. Scornful. Expressing extreme contempt. Disdain. Disdain. Lack of respect accompanied by a feeling of intense dislike. Provocative. Provocative. Serving or tending to excite or stimulate. Hostile. Hostile. Troops belonging to the enemy's military forces. Amusement. Amusement. A feeling of delight at being entertained. Sympathetic. Sympathetic. Expressing compassion or friendly fellow feelings. Affection. Affection. A positive feeling of liking. Reverent. Reverent. Feeling or showing profound respect or veneration. Mocking. Mocking. Expressing contempt or ridicule. Incredulous. Incredulous. Not disposed or willing to believe, unbelieving. Caustic. Caustic. Harsh or corrosive in tone. Elegiac. Elegiac. Resembling or characteristic of a lament for the dead. Vehement. Vehement. Marked by extreme intensity of emotions or convictions. Traditional. Traditional. Consisting of or derived from a practice of long standing. Context. Context. Discourse that surrounds and helps explain a word or passage. Argument. Argument. An assertion offered as evidence that something is true. Claim. Claim. An assertion that something is true or factual. Counterargument. Counterargument. An opinion offered in opposition to another position. Evidence. Evidence. An indication that makes something apparent. Rhetorical. Rhetorical. Relating to using language effectively. Appeal. Appeal. Attractiveness that interests or pleases or stimulates. Data. Data. A collection of facts from which conclusions may be drawn. Graph. Graph. A visual representation of the relations between quantities. Table. Table. A set of data arranged in rows and columns. Author. Author. Someone who originates or causes or initiates something. Narrator. Narrator. Someone who tells a story. Perspective. Perspective. A way of regarding situations or topics. Explicit. Explicit. Precisely and clearly expressed or readily observable. Implicit. Implicit. Being without doubt or reserve. Imply. Imply. Express or state indirectly. Infer. Infer. Reason by deduction, establish by deduction. Foreshadow. Foreshadow. Indicate by signs. Hypothesis. Hypothesis. A proposal intended to explain certain facts or observations. Capture. Capture. Succeed in representing or expressing something intangible. Characterize. Characterize. Describe or portray the qualities or peculiarities of. Item. Item. A small part that can be treated separately from the whole. Summarize. Summarize. Present the main points in a concise form. Analyze. Analyze. Consider in detail in order to discover essential features. Raise. Raise. Move upwards. Support. Support. Establish or strengthen as with new evidence or facts. Release. Release. Grant freedom to, free from confinement. Sound. Sound. Mechanical vibrations transmitted by an elastic medium. Delivery. Delivery. Voluntary transfer of something from one party to another. Figure. Figure. The form or shape of a person's body. Trace. Trace. An indication that something has been present. Base. Base. Having or showing an ignoble lack of honor or morality. Casual. Casual. Without or seeming to be without plan or method, offhand. Dull. Dull. So lacking in interest as to cause mental weariness. Center. Center. An area that is in the middle of some larger region. Secure. Secure. Free from danger or risk. Level. Level. A relative position or degree of value in a graded group. Review. Review. Look at again, examine again. Crash. Crash. Brake violently or noisily. Discharge. Discharge. Remove the unbalanced electricity from. Pitch. Pitch. The high or low quality of a sound. Bound. Bound. Confined by bonds. Blast. Blast. A sudden very loud noise. Render. Render. Give or supply. Scale. Scale. An ordered reference standard. Absolute. Absolute. Perfect or complete or pure. Absorb. Absorb. Take in a liquid. Accept. Accept. Receive willingly something given or offered. Account. Account. A short report of the news. Active. Active. Characterized by energetic movement. Acute. Acute. Extremely sharp or intense. Address. Address. The place where a person or organization can be found. Advance. Advance. Bring forward for consideration or acceptance. Affect. Affect. Have an influence upon. Agitate. Agitate. Exert oneself continuously or vigorously to gain an end. Anticipate. Anticipate. Be excited or anxious about. Apparent. Apparent. Clearly revealed to the mind or the senses or judgment. Application. Application. The action of putting something into operation. Arise. Arise. Originate or come into being. Assume. Assume. Take to be the case or to be true. Awkward. Awkward. Lacking grace or skill in manner or movement or performance. Bearing. Bearing. Characteristic way of holding one's body. Bind. Bind. Secure with or as if with ropes. Bleak. Bleak. Offering little or no hope. Blunt. Blunt. Characterized by directness in manner or speech. Bolt. Bolt. A screw that screws into a nut to form a fastener. Bond. Bond. A connection that fastens things together. Buckle. Buckle. Fastener that fastens together two ends of a belt or strap. Channel. Channel. A deep and relatively narrow body of water. Character. Character. Attributes that determine one's moral and ethical actions. Charm. Charm. Attractiveness that interests or pleases or stimulates. Claim. Claim. An assertion that something is true or factual. Clap. Clap. Strike one's hands together. Clip. Clip. A small fastener used to hold loose articles together. Command. Command. An authoritative direction or instruction to do something. Commission. Commission. The act of granting authority to undertake certain functions. Commit. Commit. Engage in or perform. Complete. Complete. Having all necessary qualities. Compose. Compose. Form the substance of. Compound. Compound. A whole formed by a union of two or more elements or parts. Concentration. Concentration. The spatial property of being crowded together. Condition. Condition. A mode of being or form of existence of a person or thing. Connect. Connect. Fasten or put together two or more pieces. Contain. Contain. Hold or have within. Core. Core. The center of an object. Court. Court. Seek someone's favor. Credit. Credit. An estimate of ability to fulfill financial commitments. Cross. Cross. A marking that consists of lines that intersect each other. Crude. Crude. Conspicuously and tastelessly indecent. Cultivate. Cultivate. Prepare for crops. Curious. Curious. Eager to investigate and learn or learn more. Decline. Decline. Grow worse. Defend. Defend. Protect against a challenge or attack. Delicacy. Delicacy. Something considered choice to eat. Deliver. Deliver. Bring to a destination. Depart. Depart. Go away or leave. Dependent. Dependent. A person who relies on another person for support. Depress. Depress. Push down. Desolate. Desolate. Providing no shelter or sustenance. Development. Development. A process in which something passes to a different stage. Difference. Difference. The number that remains after subtraction. Digest. Digest. Convert food into absorbable substances. Dim. Dim. Lacking in light, not bright or harsh. Direction. Direction. A line leading to a place or point. Discipline. Discipline. A system of rules of conduct or method of practice. Dissolve. Dissolve. Cause to fade away. Dominant. Dominant. Exercising influence or control. Draft. Draft. A current of air. Examination. Examination. The act of scrutinizing something closely, as for mistakes. Execute. Execute. Put in effect. Expose. Expose. Show, make visible or apparent. Exposure. Exposure. The state of being vulnerable to something. Expression. Expression. The communication of your beliefs or opinions. Extension. Extension. A delay in the date set for the completion of something. Fallen. Fallen. Having dropped by the force of gravity. Forge. Forge. Create by hammering. Formula. Formula. A group of symbols that make a mathematical statement. Fortune. Fortune. A large amount of wealth or prosperity. Foundation. Foundation. The basis on which something is grounded. Generation. Generation. All the people living at the same time or of the same age. Grace. Grace. Elegance and beauty of movement or expression. Grievous. Grievous. Shockingly brutal or cruel. Grim. Grim. Harshly uninviting or formidable in manner or appearance. Grind. Grind. Reduce to small pieces or particles by pounding or abrading. Hardy. Hardy. Showing warm and sincere friendliness. Heave. Heave. Throw with great effort. Host. Host. An animal or plant that nourishes and supports a parasite. Image. Image. A visual representation produced on a surface. Impertinent. Impertinent. Improperly forward or bold. Insensible. Insensible. Barely able to be perceived. Intense. Intense. Possessing a distinctive feature to a heightened degree. Invest. Invest. Lay out money or resources in an enterprise. Involve. Involve. Contain as a part. issue, issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. Launch, launch. Propel with force. Margin, margin. The boundary line or area immediately inside the boundary. Mass, mass. The property of a body that causes it to have weight. Medium, medium. The surrounding environment. Nasty, nasty. Offensive or even, of persons, malicious. Obscure, obscure. Not clearly understood or expressed. Observe, observe. Watch attentively. Occupy, occupy. Live in, a certain place. Passage, passage. The act of moving from one state or place to the next. Patch, patch. A small contrasting part of something. Pattern, pattern. A perceptual structure. Plane, plane. An unbounded two-dimensional shape. Plot, plot. A small area of ground covered by specific vegetation. Pose, pose. Assume a bearing as for artistic purposes. Positive, positive. Characterized by or displaying affirmation or acceptance. Precipitate, precipitate. Bring about abruptly. Process, process. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. Project, project. A planned undertaking. Provide, provide. Give something useful or necessary to. Range, range. An area in which something operates or has power or control. Raw, raw. Not treated with heat to prepare it for eating. Recognition, recognition. Identifying something or someone by remembering. Recognize, recognize. Perceive to be the same. Reflection, reflection. The phenomenon of a propagating wave being thrown back. Register, register. An official written record of names or events. Relation, relation. The state or quality of having something in common. Relief, relief. The act of reducing something unpleasant. Renounce, renounce. Turn away from, give up. Represent. Represent. Be a delegate or spokesperson for. Resolution. Resolution. A decision to do something or to behave in a certain manner. Response. Response. The speech act of continuing a conversational exchange. Right. Right. Free from error, especially conforming to fact or truth. Ripe. Ripe. Fully developed or matured and ready to be eaten or used. Sanction. Sanction. Official permission or approval. Scan. Scan. Examine minutely or intensely. Scrupulous. Scrupulous. Having ethical or moral principles. Sensitive. Sensitive. Responsive to physical stimuli. Serious. Serious. Of great consequence. Service. Service. An act of help or assistance. Severe. Severe. Unsparing and uncompromising in discipline or judgment. Sheer. Sheer. Very steep, having a prominent and almost vertical front. Sight. Sight. The ability to see, the visual faculty. Simple. Simple. Having few parts, not complex or complicated or involved. Situation. Situation. Physical position in relation to the surroundings. Slack. Slack. Not tense or taut. Smother. Smother. Deprive of oxygen and prevent from breathing. Solid. Solid. Not soft or yielding to pressure. Source. Source. The place where something begins. Split. Split. Separate into parts or portions. Stall. Stall. A small area set off for special use. State. State. The way something is with respect to its main attributes. Store. Store. A mercantile establishment for the sale of goods or services. Straight. Straight. Having no deviations. Stroke. Stroke. Repeated movement of the limbs in swimming or rowing. Style. Style. How something is done or how it happens. Subdued. subdued. Restrained in style or quality. Subject. Subject. Some situation or event that is thought about. Substantial. Substantial. Real, having a material or factual existence. Suffer. Suffer. Undergo or be subjected to. Suspend. Suspend. Bar temporarily. Swallow. Swallow. Pass through the esophagus as part of eating or drinking. Tender. Tender. Easy to cut or chew. Term. Term. A word or expression used for some particular thing. Thin. Thin. Of relatively small extent from one surface to the opposite. Throw. Throw. Propel through the air. Tone. Tone. A quality that reveals the attitudes of the author. Trade. Trade. The commercial exchange of goods and services. Transparent. Transparent. Transmitting light, able to be seen through with clarity. Upset. Upset. Cause to lose one's composure. Venture. Venture. An undertaking with an uncertain outcome. Wake. Wake. Stop sleeping. Waver. Waver. Be unsure or weak. Weigh. Weigh. Have a certain heft. Withdraw. Withdraw. Remove, a commodity, from, a supply source. Acerbic. Acerbic. Harsh or corrosive in tone. Aggravated. Aggravated. Made more severe or intense, especially in law. Agitated. Agitated. Physically disturbed or set in motion. Ambitious. Ambitious. Having a strong desire for success or achievement. Amusement. Amusement. A feeling of delight at being entertained. Anxiety. Anxiety. A vague unpleasant emotion in anticipation of a misfortune. Apathetic. Apathetic. Showing little or no emotion or animation. Apprehensive. Apprehensive. In fear or dread of possible evil or harm. Artificial. Artificial. Contrived by art rather than nature. Assertion. Assertion. A declaration that is made emphatically. Astonishment. Astonishment. The feeling that accompanies something extremely surprising. Averse. Averse. Strongly opposed. Befuddled. Befuddled. Perplexed by many conflicting situations or statements. Bellicose. Bellicose. Having or showing a ready disposition to fight. Bitter. Bitter. Proceeding from or exhibiting great hostility or animosity. Bombastic. Bombastic. Ostentatiously lofty in style. Brash. Brash. Offensively bold. Brusque. Brusque. Rudely abrupt or blunt in speech or manner. Callous. Callous. Emotionally hardened. Candid. Candid. Openly straightforward and direct without secretiveness. Candor. Candor. The quality of being honest and straightforward. Cavalier. Cavalier. Given to haughty disregard of others. Choleric. Choleric. Characterized by anger. Churlish. Churlish. Having a bad disposition, surly. Coarse. Coarse. Lacking refinement or cultivation or taste. Complacent. Complacent. Contented to a fault with oneself or one's actions. Concern. Concern. An anxious feeling. Conciliatory. Conciliatory. Making or willing to make concessions. Condescending. Condescending. Characteristic of those who treat others with arrogance. Conducive. Conducive. Tending to bring about, being partly responsible for. Console. Console. Give moral or emotional strength to. Contemplative. Contemplative. Deeply or seriously thoughtful. Contentious. Contentious. Showing an inclination to disagree. Contradictory. Contradictory. Not able to be true at the same time. Creative. Creative. Having the ability or power to invent or make something. Crude. Crude. Conspicuously and tastelessly indecent. Curt. Curt. Brief and to the point. Cynical. Cynical. believing the worst of human nature and motives. Deference. Deference. Courteous regard for people's feelings. Dejected. Dejected. Affected or marked by low spirits. Derisive. Derisive. Expressing contempt or ridicule. Despair. Despair. A state in which all hope is lost or absent. Despondent. Despondent. Without or almost without hope. Diffident. Diffident. Showing modest reserve. Dire. Dire. Fraught with extreme danger, nearly hopeless. Disgruntled. Disgruntled. In a state of sulky dissatisfaction. Disgust. Disgust. Strong feelings of dislike. Dismay. Dismay. The feeling of despair in the face of obstacles. Disparagement. Disparagement. A communication that belittles somebody or something. Domination. Domination. Power to defeat. Dubious. Dubious. Fraught with uncertainty or doubt. Eager. Eager. Having or showing keen interest or intense desire. Ecstatic. Ecstatic. Feeling great rapture or delight. Effusive. Effusive. Uttered with unrestrained enthusiasm. Elated. Elated. Full of high-spirited delight. Emphasize. Emphasize. Stress or single out as important. Engaging. Engaging. Attracting or delighting. Enthusiastic. Enthusiastic. Having or showing great excitement and interest.
Thank you for watching. Here are a couple of videos that I suggest you watch next. Before you move on to next video, if you find this video helpful, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Just click the link in the description below and enable all notifications. You'll be notified whenever I upload my next video. Thank you so much. See you soon.